up everyone, welcome back to another Figma review, and a lot of you guys have been asking for this one right here. I didn't think I'd have the time to do it, but I found a little bit of time right now, so I'm going to blast through it pretty quickly. And this, of course, is Figma number 284, and that is Link, Kamigami no Torai Fosutsu version. Or as you and I know it, it's the Link from A Link Between Worlds. So if the last Link right here is anything to go by, the one from Skyward Sword, then this is going to be fantastic just like this. An absolute Figma classic. But anyway, first let's take a quick look around the box. So there is the top, there is the bottom, there is the right hand side of the box, the left hand side of the box, and of course there is the back with everything that's included here and what he'll look like once he's out of here. Now let's get him out. So there is the clear inner packaging with what's in here, the figure, the sword, one extra face, only one that's a bit of a disappointment I have to say already, and the shield. And pretty much down here is what you usually get, the instructions, bag, stand and hands and all that stuff, but anyway let's bust him out and check what he looks like. And so there he is out of the box, and the first thing that strikes me is that he is small. Like, really small. If you're buying this online or something, you may get a bit of a shock. If you haven't seen Figma before, in person, they are kinda small, about 1/12 scaler, 13 or 14 centimeters, around that. As you can see there, he only measures in at around 10 centimeters or so, which is really small. If you collect Figma or you've seen Figma before, you probably can guess that this is going to be tiny, but if you're one of those people who don't, just be prepared. But besides that, it looks absolutely fantastic. But anyway, besides that, it looks absolutely perfect. It looks spot on. Max Factory's signature matte paint on there just looks so good, as it always does. The tunic in a great green, complemented by that nice subtle brown and the grey on the legs. And all of that is excellently complemented by the slight golden sheen on his belt buckle and the absolute brilliance of Ravio's bracelet there. In a metallic gold and a brilliant metallic pinkish purple. All in all, he looks great. Next, now zooming in on the face for a closer look, and as you can see, Max Factory have 100% nailed it as usual. And about the hair, I have to say I am completely digging this. So many Figma now have that modern anime style hair with spikes all over the place. This big floppy front section here is so refreshing to see something like that. The pointy ears look great as well. And of course, same with his hat. It does have a seam here though, but that's to move it around. So there is Link, Kamigami no Torai Fosutsu version, with everything that he comes with. So as for faces, we're limited to just two. This standard smiling face, as well as this second one, which I can only refer to as like slight irritation or maybe a mild gurn, but still looks pretty cool. As for hands, we have a pair of fists, a pair of widespread open hands, as well as a pair of standard Figma holding hands. Next up is the shield, that just inserts into the hand like that. Stick that part on, and then stick it into the back of the shield like so. And finally there is that Hyrulean shield, and it looks fantastic in silver, gold, blue, and red. Flip that around to the other side, and it looks great around there as well. Next then, the Master Sword to attach that, you just pull off the handle like that, stick it up in there like that, and pop that back on, like so. Again, just like the shield, that looks fantastic in metallic blue, metallic silver, and metallic purple. A little bit of metallic gold on there as well. And this is pretty much the same as what you've seen with the other Figma Link, just a little bit shorter and a little bit different, but then again, the same Hyrulean shield, and the same Master Sword. Lastly then is this acetate version of Link for when he's in the wall, and this is pretty cool, but the one minor problem is it doesn't come with a stand as such. It comes with this little piece here, which he can slot into like so. But from there, this thing here won't stand up on its own. It's got this little hole to use with the stand, but if you're using the stand with this, you can't use the stand with him there. So it would have been cool if they had an adapter so it can go behind him, or just like Ninja Slayer, connect on at the back there. But pretty much, if you've got him attached to the base, this is kinda useless unless like you stick it or tape it to something. I guess if you are feeling inventive, you could just take this little part here off the base. He can still connect on like so. And then maybe stick this in here, and will that act as a counterbalance? Nah, not really. Either way, he just feels like he's gonna fall over. How about this way? Nah, there's no way you're keeping that up. Now moving on to the articulation, and it's what you'd expect from a Figma. Head up, down, his neck doesn't split like Kirito anyway, that's good. This part here rotates all the way around like that, arm up, arm down. As you can see, the tunic itself is made out of a soft, pliable material, so that doesn't get in the way. There's a bend at the elbow, the wrist, as you can see there, is a ball joint, so you get all that kind of usual stuff you'd get from a Figma joint. As for an ab crunch, oh, there's something in there, as you can see, so not much or anything to the front. That falls off quite regularly. actually, just so you know. His quiff is not so stable. But anyway, to the back, there's a bit, but I'm not sure if he'd hold it. I don't think he would. So he moves around a bit, but I don't think he'd hold it. As for if this tunic gets in the way, I'm guessing it's like the other version of Link, and yeah, there's a split there, so let's kick that up to the front, kick it all the way to the back, again, very good, all the way out to the outside, and again, great for having this little section here. This is one of the reasons I love Figma. They do this, a lot of other figure manufacturers don't actually do that, so that's one thing I love about them, and it's why they're kind of worth the expensive price. Next then, there is the bend at the knee, so not too bad. Is that rotation there? No, up there. Yeah, there's rotation there in at the hip, and lastly the foot all the way down, up, not a whole lot there. We've got some side to side action there, and lastly, there is the bend at the toe. So the articulation is good, not great. I feel like when you try to put him in a pose, he always looks a little bit puppety, if you get what I mean. Like, the feet don't fully point down. It's hard to get him in a dynamic pose. Can't really get the sword to point out too much. They should have had some hands that are like, you know, at a more like tilted angle as well. All in all, like I said, he just kind of looks like a bit of a puppet. Not necessarily a character in action or a character model or anything like that. Maybe it's his stature, I'm not sure, but that's probably one of the disappointing factors about this too. So that is it for the review, and again, another impressive Figma. Would I say it's better than the old one, the Skyward Sword version? Definitely not. The other one's bigger, has that awesome little effect part that goes on the sword. This one here, I guess the most negative point is that it's small. I know that fits the character, like that he's short and whatnot, but Figma are meant to be non-scale, so they could have made him a little bit bigger, but then he wouldn't have matched the other one, so I guess it's okay. Just know it's small. But I've said that a few times now, so you've probably copped it. But besides that, it looks absolutely fantastic. But at the end of the day, it is a really cool figure. Should you rush out and buy it? Only if you really want it. If you're a big fan of the game, then by all means go for it. But if you're considering to get this or the Skyward Sword version, I'd say go for the Skyward Sword version. Or if you're waiting for the Twilight Princess one, well, that's the one I'd probably have my money on. That's the one that I really want. But at the end of the day, it is still a pretty cool Link figure. But anyway, that is it for the review. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, make sure to come back for more Figma reviews, and I'll see you next time. So now moving quickly onto articulation, and it's what you... Okay. I was going to say it's what you would expect from a Figma, but I didn't expect his face to explode.